It is always interesting to watch a handshake between Trump and Macron. There's always something new, something fascinating about those interactions. And this is not our first rodeo. You might remember that I have analyzed them. The bone crushing used more than a couple times, in fact. And you remember from those instances, one of those was especially, let's say, crushing for Macron because, Trump had this high angle handshake, very absolute display, this vulgar display of power. That is a Pantera album. If you're familiar with some metal, just so you know where the reference comes from. And that one that he spent like 17 seconds or something, or like close to half a minute shaking hands with him when he was saying goodbye. I think it was a very special moment. I think that he likes Macron. Again, I think that there's cordiality between the two world leaders. But now we have this. This is the newest one in the Egypt summit with the peace between Israel and Hamas, and all the world leaders were there. And then you see, okay, it was interesting to watch how Macron enters very extremely confident. That was interesting. You know that after that slap, it was a slap or something like that. It was not the Chris Rock slap. You know which slap I'm talking about. It's interesting to see Macron quite okay. The body language, the posture is similar to Trump's. They have a lot of synchronicity in there, and notice how Trump immediately brings his hand a little back. This is initially not the Trump pull, when he pulls people towards him too. That is another display of power. But I think it was more of an enduring gesture. Notice that how they mimic each other, and Trump is in fact leaning his head towards Macron and looking at him directly, talking to him in a very close moment. I think he knows, Trump knows how important is this cause for Macron, how much they wanted it, even if Trump disagreed in the whole, recognize a Palestinian state. I don't know if that is in part of the deal or the negotiations, in fact, but I think that there was a very close moment between them. Now, it is important to notice that when they had to locate themselves so they could face the cameras, they had to do this way, because otherwise it would be like Trump doing this very awkward gesture. And they were people saying that, they are in this tug of war. But I think that for the first time, I really saw Macron. Notice that Macron notice that Trump, in fact, at some point, I would say that his hand was quite relaxed. His hand was quite relaxed this time, and even so much so that Macron had the chance of doing a "Hey, bro" handshake like this. The Predator handshake, the Predator salute. That was nice. Notice that Macron also touches Trump's hand with his other hand. There's a way of, even if he leans away from Trump to make some space, not to be so French. You remember those handshakes between Macron and Trudeau, what were maybe suspicious. But no, this one was quite nice. This was quite nice, and Trump also pointed at the camera. Maybe, I don't know why Trump pointed at the camera. Maybe that he was like signaling Macron, you have to look at there because the pictures, you have to pose for the pictures. And I think that's when Macron turns around, and notice how yet again with that bro handshake, Trump is leaning his head towards Macron, and in fact Macron's head is a bit more straight. Maybe it's the fact that Trump is taller and Trump wanted to, actually reach out to him. But in fact, you see that Macron has kind of a better posture here. Trump is slouching a bit. One thing that he doesn't do all the time. That is very rare for him. Again, he keeps talking to him and he keeps bringing. Now, at this moment, Macron is making these expressions because he is acknowledging what Trump is saying. Oh, right, he says. You see that, oh, Trump says something. Oh, yeah, you're so damn right. But you can see, this time, you can see with a bro handshake, the color of Trump's fingers are literally turning white. Like he's, you see, it's like this. Like I'm doing this. You're gonna see like my hand, that is my left hand, like turning a bit red, and my right hand is gonna be a bit white because of the pressure. And when there's release of pressure, at some point you're gonna see the difference. Now we have to say something about that. But even so, again, I think this was the moment in which Macron was saying, okay, that is enough. But just to mention it, notice how there were shadows between their hands. So Trump was already releasing the pressure. Notice that there are tiny shadows between the fingers. That was absolutely not happening 1 second ago. Notice that there's no shadows under the fingers. It means that the fingers are completely like inside of Macron's flesh. Okay, that came out very wrong. That's one of the perks of having no script. All right. So no, I think there was a very nice, a very full handshake, and it's like Trump is acknowledging, oh, your handshake game has improved. Oh, I've been practicing with Brigitte. Oh yeah, so nice. And some people have been circulating one picture in which allegedly there is Macron's hand after the handshake, and they're saying, they claim that this picture. Oh, this is Macron's hand after that handshake. And wait a second. No, I know that hand, not because I know the man behind that hand, or I know whose hand that hand belongs to. Does that make sense? But I remember this picture. I knew this picture because, the body language memory. And it is not Macron's hand. There was Prince William when he did his handshake, greeted Modi from India, India's prime minister. And yeah, the handshake, that the same is happening. You see Modi's fingers turning white, okay? This is the one applying the pressure, and William's hand becoming red. And when he releases the pressure, that's what happens. But again, people were circulating this hand as if it was Macron's. But no, this is a classic picture of what you get with bone-crushing handshake, which is, by the way, very unpolite. This is not a polite thing to do. This is actually a very disrespectful thing to do, because you usually want to match the other person's pressure, but I don't think that William was doing this. Well, a great handshake between Macron and Trump. Remember that I have a channel dedicated only to political commentary. I'm going to leave you with the link in the description of this video. My name is Jesus Enrique Rosas. I'm the body language guy. Let me know what you think about this in the comments. Much love and bliss.